afternoon on what is a warm, grey and cloudy day. It is Friday the 17th of May, and I'm in the reading Nook with a nice hot cup of tea and a parcel to unbox. So let's get the tag. There we go. Always, just you rip it, you pull on it, and it just goes. No, I'm not opening. I'm going to tear off. In the end, you got to use your fingers. So it takes longer. There we go. What I've got in here is a copy of Sarge, Volume 1, by Gerry, Finley-Day and Mike Weston, from the pages of Battle. They depended on Sarge and the world depended on them. Sergeant Jim Masters, a veteran of World War One, has to lead young, inexperienced British soldiers through some of the bloodiest encounters of World War Two. From Dunkirk through North Africa and onto Sicily, the Sarge skillfully moulds his men into a battle-hardened unit, ready to take on the might of the German army on any battlefield. But the enemy is only half the problem for Masters. From useless officers, hostile allies, and psychotic killers, the Sarge's bigger problems are often much closer to home. This first volume of Sarge, written by Gerry Finley-Day, responsible primarily known for Rogue Trooper, features a lot by one of the giants of British comics, Mike Weston, HMS Nightingale, and Roy of the Rovers. Now, Roy of the Rovers is a long-running football comic, football comic or strip and so on, that I didn't read because because football isn't my particular thing. But I did read Rogue Trooper, and this is published by Rebellion, and it's come from the Treasury of British Comics. Because one of the things that Rebellion has done is it's gone around and snapped up all the archives, essentially all the little publishers and their archives of comic books from published here in the UK in the last say 50 years or so, something like that. And there's a lot of comics from sort of like the 50s, 60s, 70s, even into the 80s that have not seen the light of day. Whereas something like 2000 AD has had its content has been reprinted again and again. And they're worth tracking down because they're great stories, they're really cracking stories. But comics like Battle and Action had content that was really enjoyed at the time. Battle basically focusing upon like World War II and World War One, like similar battles and so on, and conflicts was like a military comic. Action was essentially sort of like, can I put it? What if the makers of Jaws and the Dirty Harry films got together and decided to make a boys' comic? Because that's what it was. It was inspired by the films of the time that the authors and artists were seeing and wanted to tell more adult stories for teenagers. Of course, a bit of a kerfuffle at the time, and led to its closure. And then subsequently we got 2000 AD because that was a way to tell more adult kind of tone stories in a satirical way. But in the meantime, you had a lot of like military comics, long-running military comics that were fantastic pieces of artwork, great stories, and so on, if you liked that sort of thing. So here we've got the Sarge's stripes inside, front and back cover, and in between lots of good art. So we have credits, note that it's volume 1, and introduction of Garth Ennis. That will set the stage, because he's written his own war comics as well. And here we are, looking at this really kind of dense, dark black and white artwork throughout, that with the occasional burst of colour, and it would have been very vibrant colour, as you will see. And here you've got like an encounter, with the Sarge's unit and sort of like some Nazi tank crew. And each week, these stories would have run, so 1, 2, 3 pages like that. And here you've got, so that that would have told a complete story in 3 pages, action-packed, full of tension and drama. And here we've got some example of the colour artwork. I'll just show you a bit more detail. So you know, when it was colour, that was something extra. That was wow. But honestly, just the black and white artwork is really what you're here for. You know, you can see how much is packed into those pages, and it's fantastically drawn. And here, one of the things you can see is with these issues is that there's actually quite a lot of, colour pages for it in the strips. So these would have appeared in the middle of the comic, because the printing cost meant that you essentially the cover and the back cover inside, you know, and inside now essentially that would have been done in colour, and then they would have done just sort of like the colour in the middle pages. So, you know, this would have been something quite special. This would have been regarded as sort of the premium spot for your comic strip at the time. So I think we've got some like individual kind of smaller stories. So, you know, this section comes to an end with the stripes, and we've got just the one story before you got stripes again. So you've got kind of a bit of a break. And this is North Africa. There's a map with Tobruk on it earlier. So yeah, I mean, you know, these were written for teenagers, but they wouldn't have been, you know, necessarily talked down to. I mean, there would have been the aspect of a definite aspect of heroism to them, because at the time you would have been exposed to the stories of World War II. We're talking sort of like late 60s, early 70s, that kind of thing. So World War II only ended 30 years before, and so it was in living memory. Lots of films that would have turned up on television, and so on. So we've come down to the end, and we've actually got front cover from Battle, and essentially with flash page on the cover for that particular story. And the other thing to note is that here, same again, and it says it incorporates the comic Valiant, because that was a similar. This is sort of battle action comic and Valiant. They were all kind of the similar things, which would lead to them kind of integrating together to save costs, and which meant sort of essentially you would get like the best of the stories from one appearing sort of like from each one, from Battle, from Action, and from Valiant appearing kind of in the regular issues. So, and there we go, as they coalesce. Now we've got quick bibliographies of Gerry Finley-Day and Mike Weston, and then really nice touch, memory of growing up with a comic strip drawing dad. And this is basically by Peter Weston there, about his father, the artist. It's a nice addition to the end of the thing, and that's essentially, and that falls in with the kind of the remit that this is, you know, the treasure of British comics, looking at the great comics of the past, and not just reprinting them, doing a little bit extra, like that piece, that family piece at the end there, which, just to say, just adds a little bit extra. Anyway, so that's Sarge Volume 1. I'm already looking forward to Sarge Volume 2. It looks a great read, just bring back memories of sort of comics of the time, even if I didn't read this, and I definitely didn't read this. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this unboxing of the Nook. If you did, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings of the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a box containing a book or game, or in this case a graphic novel, which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea, then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.